Good evening and welcome to Build Your Best Life with Coach Deborah D. Smith. I am super excited to have you here with us today because you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us. And how are you, Mr. Miller?
I am great, man. I'm so glad to be here with you guys today, man. I'm excited.
Great, great, great. Well, this month our theme is about reaching out to nurture. It is so important for families to benefit and help their kids nurture along the way. And today, I tell you, we have so many different types of families. We have two parent children families, single parent families, blended families, bonus families, foster parent families. Uh, Single foster parent families and families that are headed by grandparents or guardians. So there are all types of models, and those models can be flexible. You know how life happens. You have people that split up, you have marriages. So all that can change. But guess what? The negotiables don't change. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, because it does not matter if you have a family unit and something happens and that family unit breaks apart. It is important for especially our dads and young men to still have that bond, because our young men have some things that they can only learn from their dads. So we are going there today. But again, so happy to have you here. So how about you telling everybody about yourself? I'm so excited to have you on. I've heard all about you.
But I'm glad to be here, Well, I'm a Bahamian gospel artist. I'm a radio TV host. I does promotion for artists and so much more. I love doing what I do. I have a passion for helping, independent artists, get to another level in their career. And, I grew up under humble beginnings. I know what it is not to have nowhere to live, nowhere to stay. I know what it is to get hooked up in the wrong crowd, gang banging, but I also know what it is for people to count you out and to make you feel that you are a nobody. But when I encountered the teachings of the kingdom of God through Bahamas Faith Ministry, Dr. Miles Monroe, it really changed my thinking and caused me to really believe in myself. I start to believe, I start to get kingdom minded. And so all of the negativity that I was taught growing up, that I was a zero, I finally found out that I was a hero. I was wonderfully made, and anything that is good out there for me, anything that is good out there is also good for me, and so that's a little bit about me. And I just love, doing what I'm doing now at this time. I'm also an author. I'm sorry, but that part I have to add that part.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay, before we leave today at the end, you got to make sure you tell us everybody all about your book.
Most definitely. Most
Okay.
definitely.
All right. I want to take a time out to welcome Hubert Watson. He's watching, and Peggy Wiggins. Thank you all for tuning in. And we are looking forward to have some more people come on. But in the meantime, if y'all could please, excuse me, like and share. Make sure that you're inviting people to join us here on Build Your Best Life. We're on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, Build Your Best Life pages. So join us. Make sure you got pad and pens, because I know you're going to get some nuggets. Oh, but just get ready to enjoy, because we're planning on having fun. So y'all just go get with the program.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so today we are talking about let's stay together, because again, we need dads sticking with their offspring, not when they walk away from a relationship, they walk away from the children, because that's that never it wasn't built for you to split with your child. So that's what we're going to talk about. But again, there is a significant number of single family homes. People should make the decision that is best for them. So, we understand life happens and whatever people need to do. However, when those divorces come up or you break up with your spouse, your significant other, whatever, it's best if that's best, but what's best for you to avoid anxiety, depression, or you causing physical or verbal abuse for each other, then
Mhm.
we understand that.
Yes.
But the problem does lie because if we look at statistics, we got families splitting up and then we're detaching from our children. So we want to try to change that. So, Orlando, except for court mandated restrictions, what is the main reason you think that fathers are okay walking away from their children when they are no longer in a relationship with their moms?
I think a lot of men walk away from their kids. Number one, to hurt their ex, and at the end of the day, it really hurt the kids because the kids didn't ask to come into the world. So we as men, we still have to man up. Not everybody does it, but you have many men that does it. Now, let's say, for example, my mother, she passed away. She was from Jamaica. She was married here in the Bahamas. She had about 3 kids. And when she went to Jamaica to, visit her parents, she ended up having a affair, and she got pregnant. And when she got pregnant, she was scared to come back home to Nassau, to let her husband know that, hey, I am pregnant, but it's not for you. And so she called my biological dad and she said, hey, I'm pregnant and I have to get rid of this child because, I'm a married woman. And so, he told her, no, I'm not giving you no money to get rid of my first child. You just got to have him. And so because she didn't have the money, she had to put me on my stepdad, who was actually her husband, who I grew up for years thinking was my biological dad. Later on, I get to find out that he was not my dad. And, so growing up, my biological dad wasn't there for me at the age of 11 when my mother thought I was old enough. She told me the truth. She said that, hey, you know, um, my husband is not your dad. And when I was about 5, I went to Jamaica to go to school. I went there for about a year. And she said, and while I was there, I ended up meeting my biological dad. I ended up living with him for about a year. I went to school. And he would tell people that, hey, this is my son. And I would tell him, hey, no, you're not my dad, because I didn't, my mother never told me that until I was about 11. And so
Mm.
we had an issue with that. And when I came back home and I was 11, and she told me that, that really rocked my life, because I was living a lie for years. I was living a lie, and he wasn't in my life. And I always, when I was growing up, I always thought I was different because the rest of the kids, they were dark, and then I came out bright. And people would say things, and they don't believe I was, my mother, husband, child. And so it used to get to me, mentally. And, I felt a little out of place, but with our situation, my biological dad, my mother had bipolar, so she never used to keep in contact with with her family in Jamaica, and my biological dad. So for years, I wanted to get to know who was my biological dad, even though I had a stepdad. And I wanted him to be in my life, and he wasn't there. And the thing is, he couldn't really come here and cause a problem because he knew that she was a married woman, and coming here to the Bahamas looking for me would only cause a problem. And so he stayed away. But at the end of the day, it affected me. So it wasn't like he was there in my life and he did something for me, send money, he helped pay my school fee. Or it wasn't like that. But at the end of the day, I thank God for great role models, men that stepped up to the plate, men that I emulated, men that I looked up to, and saw some great stuff that they were doing in their life and wanted to, eat off their plate, see what they were doing that I could take note and learn from and be able to partake of. And so when your father may leave your life, God always gives you something else, an alternative. So a lot of times we feel that maybe because our biological dad was not there, that, that is no excuse for you to fail or to give up on life, because God always bring great mentors and wonderful men in your life that could substitute that space that was missing in your life.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, because he knows everything. So sometimes he actually formulated that so you wouldn't come up in that environment
Exactly.
because you wouldn't be who you are today.
Exactly.
Yep. Yes. I have a similar story, but we're not going to talk about it today. All right.
All
Good
right.
evening, Tony. Thank you for tuning in. There are many family dynamics. I mentioned a lot of those different models earlier. Now, if someone is in a committed relationship and with someone with children, their commitment should spread to their children. So, what I mean is, if you meet someone new and they already have children, you can't just go there and love on their mom and just treat them like they trash or whatever. In my opinion, you gotta love them too, or you haven't been there.
Yes.
So, what do you feel is the reason some men can't spread love with multiple sets of children?
I think that some men cannot do it because they were not taught how to do it. Remember, we are what we think, and what we think is what we're being taught. So you cannot give what you don't have. And so a lot of men growing up, they didn't have a father in their life. Their father didn't show them the way, but maybe their father didn't show them the way. So they just don't have it. So for example, I wouldn't say I grew up with a good father role model in my life, but after encountering a lot of great men like Dr. Miles Monroe, Pastor Richard Pinder, Kevin Fox, Julian Allen, so much great men to church and, in the community that really were, doing some positive things in the community that I really admired. I was able to align myself with them and learn from them. That is the reason why I am, where I am the way I am today, because I was able to be mentored by them. And so today I have a 6-year-old son, I have a 14-year-old daughter. And so every day I would tell my kids that I love them. They are the best. They are the smartest. There's no one greater than them, because I know the world that we're living in. You go to school, you have kids that would tell you you're ugly, you have a big head. They would give you all the negativity in the world. And so before they leave the house, I fill them up with positivity. I hug on them. I love on them. I kiss them. And these are the things that I didn't grow up with. I can't remember my mother giving me a hug and saying, Orlando, I love you. I can't remember my stepdad giving me a hug and saying, Orlando, I love you. You are great. You're going to make it. I didn't have that. But I had to learn that from other men who showed me the way. And so now today I am able to partake and pour that into my kids, so that when they have kids, they could be able to pour that in them and, continue to let the legacy live in the Miller family.
Oh, yeah. That is awesome. I love that. So, even though you didn't have that model, you still had someone assigned to assist you and you learn along the way. So now you can pass it along. So that's great.
Yes.
We need. Yes. Young men sometimes lack self-confidence. They can't understand why their dad is not there to nurture them and encourage them. And so they just, they'll get in trouble, and you ask them why they do certain things, and they just, I don't know, but it's a feeling that they have inside. And you've given us some good tips, I think. But what do you have for these young men?
Yes, basically the same thing what I said earlier. Just have to align themselves with great men, role models out there who could be able to pour into their lives. Because, like I said, a lot of times you have fathers out there who want to do good, but they just don't know how to do it. Unless somebody showed them the way, they would never know. You understand what I'm saying? A person can only take you as far as they have been. I cannot tell you about what it is to experience hitting coke or killing someone or whatever. I never walked that path. So, or I only could show you what I have went through and hold your hand and show you the path how to get out of it. And so we have to align ourselves with other men who are doing what we want to do and what we want to see to come out of our kids. And so today I am living that. I tell my son every day that he is wonderful. He is great. Because mom, tell you, when I went to school, the kids used to do me right in. They used to tell me I am a nobody. You're not gonna amount to nothing. But look at God.
Yes.
God is a God that, he has a heart for the counted out. He have the heart for those who many feel that they are nobody. Check out Joseph. Many people, many of his brothers, they counted him out.
That's
We
right.
look at David when Saul came to bless one of the brothers. They chose everybody else except David. But God always is be rooting for the underdog. And so
Right.
us being us out there who may be considered underdogs, do not give up. Do not count yourself out because people count you out, because God is rooting for you. He always smiling on the underdogs.
Yep. Don't count yourself out. There's
No.
a reason for everything.
Yes, yes.
Yes. And our here this year, our theme for the year is reach out. It's all about reach. And people sometimes would rather just stand around, and when they see our young men, they don't know what they've been through and why they are reacting the way they do. Instead of them reaching out to assist them and be that role model, they rather just stand back and go, look at him. I wonder where his people at.
Yeah. But something, the reason to that is because the world has changed. In the Bahamas or the Caribbean, back in the days, a village grew up your kids. You
Yes.
understand what I'm saying? So you had the neighbors looking out for your kids, and even the neighbors had authority to beat your kids, and that was a no problem. Back in the days, when you do something wrong, 2 or 3 neighbors down the road already beat you before your parents even beat you. But now, if you touch a child, the parents will come and kill you. So it has changed. And so we have to get back to basic, where we as a community, we as a village, start to pour into these young men. Because we have to understand something. When we come into the world as a baby, we come empty. We don't even know how to talk. We don't know how to say dada, mama. Somebody had to pour that within us. Somebody, everything that you are today, someone taught you. Everything that I am today, someone taught me. And so we have to get back to basic and come together and grow up these kids like how it used to be done back in the days. If we want to see a success rate in these young men's life, like how it was back in the days.
That's right. Yep. We have to get together and try to put the work in there. That's why, there's so many men that can you do, like I've heard that you do a lot, but it's like start a baseball team, start some kind of sports team, start a mentoring group, get them interested in doing the right things and not the wrong things. Because it's easier to train them early than try to
Yes.
train them later.
Yes, yes.
Most definitely. And hi, Yvonne. Thank you for tuning in. Sometimes mothers will, I'll say, overcompensate for the lack of what their male children are not receiving from their dads. And so they may not give them rules, whereas they know they should have curfews, but they'll, okay, and, being at 12, but, they feel bad some kind of way. So then they discipline them less. they'll give them material things that they can't even afford just to overcompensate because they feel bad.
Mhm.
But what do you feel about a child having no discipline and being compensated for a lack of a role model?
Well, I think that in life we just have to balance, put balance in whatever we do. And it can be good with some kids, because what could work with some kids, like some kids,
Mhm.
you could beat them with broomstick, baseball bat, and they will never change. And then
Right.
there's some, if you just talk to them loud, they burst out and crying. So you got to use balance and use the right mechanism to deal with the child, because you have to know the child that you're working with to see how best to work with them. So I think once you know how the child behavior is, and you know what they really like, because at the end of the day, you take away certain things that they are accustomed to loving, they do not want that to be taken away from them, so they'll act different. So you just have to balance it. That's how I feel. Learn how to balance. You know, you don't want to overshadow them with too much love, but you have to be stern and you have to be loving at the same time. It have to be a balance. That's what I would say.
Balance. Yeah, so you have to love them where they are, and you have to know your child because, like you say, some you give them a little extra, and it's okay. They don't try to take advantage of that. Where another child, they would just
Yes. So you just have to know the child to know what type of discipline to use on them, because the belt and the stick may not work with this child, but the belt and the stick may work for that the other child.
Yep, it's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, now this is going too quick. The last question that I had was, life happens, as I stated before, and many young men are not getting that love, encouragement, and mentorship that they need from their fathers or male role models. What can you share with these young men to assist them in overcoming this obstacle and striving to build their best life?
I would say sometimes what you can't get on earth, you have to get in heaven. So if you cannot find a good um, role model as a man on earth, grab that Bible, get, dive into that and start to learn about Jesus Christ. Start to learn about your heavenly Father, because He is the greatest Father of them all, and He will change your life. He will cause you to do things that will cause people who counted you out start to count you in. Because trust me, that's what I start to do. I start to really um, dive in and learn more about Yeshua, my big brother, and start to learn more about Jehovah God. And I
Mm.
learned so much. They are my greatest role model. I've seen what they have accomplished. And the Bible said that we will do greater works, and said that we are made in His image and in his likeness. And if He can do it, we can do it too. And
That's
so if we could follow His pattern, learn from Him, trust me, there is nothing that we cannot overcome or succeed in once we follow the pattern of Jesus Christ and Jehovah God.
okay. Do you have any other recommendations or
I
suggestions?
just want to encourage every male out there. I know it ain't easy, because back in the days, we didn't had a lot of distraction like what these young kids have today. They have WhatsApp, they have social media. It's so much distraction. And right now, the pedophile, they usually used to be on the park. Now they are on your kid's phone. They're on their computer. So, it is so much pressure out there for kids today. And so we have to deal with them differently and try our best to encourage them and show them the path, and try to work with them, because it ain't easy. Because I can tell you this, maybe if we were kids today, we might fail like how many of them are failing
Oh,
because
yes.
we didn't have the distractions that they have. And so even, trying to grow up with my teenage daughter, sometimes I get a little rough, but then I have to understand, this is a different time. And so, they have a greater distraction. Back in the days when I was in gangs, the worst that I could really, you know, um, expect was being gang, getting stabbed, getting bullets in my head with a bottle, or maybe going to jail. But at least I can live.
Right.
Today, with the young men in the Bahamas today, 14 years old, 13 years old, they are murdering people. I mean, murdering. And they are being murdered.
Yes.
When you do somebody something nowadays, they don't bust you or stab you no more. As a young man, they are killing you. And so these young men are growing up in a time when you can't be weak and you can't be seen weak. And so they have a serious, dilemma that they're dealing with. And only great role model could go great role model men can really show them the way. And only the word of God and the teaching of the kingdom can be their pathway to out of this mess of darkness that Satan has really put down to really kill the young men. See, because what happened is for years, many of the elders have been praying to God to solve some solutions, solve some problems that we are going through today. And what God does, He never send no army of angels to solve the problem. All He does was simply send babies. He put kids in women to bring out these kids that have these gifts that will produce these wonderful children that will solve the problem of the day. And so today, the devil is killing out the young people because he
Yes.
know that they have the solution, especially the males. They have the solution for the problems that we are facing today. But the problem is they do not know who they are. And that's why they have to dive into that Bible and get to find out who they are. Dive and develop a great relationship with God to find out who they are and find out why that they were sent here, what God sent them here to fix. Because every child was born for a reason to solve a problem. Something is great about you, and you have to fix it. You were sent here to fix it. But the devil know what you were born for. God know what you were born for. The only person who doesn't know is you. And so that is why when you turn on the news, on the TV, turn on the radio, look in the newspaper, only a lot of young men are getting killed.
Yes.
Young men are getting killed. And because we are the foundation. And then so if you can destroy the foundation, the whole house will fall apart. And that is why the devil is attacking the young men. So, young men, find out who you are and find out what you were sent on this earth to do. It doesn't matter if your mother had you by mistake, but you are an on time baby by God because He sent you here for a reason. On time baby. So, find out who you are because you are great and don't let nobody tell you different.
That's right. Yes. God made each one of us uniquely. We all have a purpose.
Purpose,
So
yeah.
you gotta ask and get discernment to find out what that purpose is, because you're right. Because just like in the United States as well, they are just killing each other uh,
Killing.
with these what is it? Assault weapons,
Yeah.
which I don't know why they even allowing them to buy those, but they're
Yeah.
just destroying lives.
Mhm.
And they don't care who it is or whatever. So it's just we got to do a lot of praying and try to teach our young men, like you say, the word of God. And,
Yes.
and if we have men out there that can mentor and be there for them to step up, that's what we need.
Yes, 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 yes. The men have the solution to the problem today, and the devil knows that. And so, if he could wipe you out, if you look back in the Bible, when the people was crying out for a savior, God sent a child, Jesus Christ. And you
Yes.
see what happened. They sent out a decree, send out, kill all the young kids. And that's what they did. Kill all the young babies. Kill all the young babies. When the people were crying out and pleading to God, please, Lord, we need a deliverer. So God sent another child, a male child, Moses. He was the deliverer. And you see what they sent out the decree. Kill all the young men. Kill all the young babies. And
Mm-hmm.
today, the decree is out there. Kill all the young men. Kill all the young men. Because greatness is within the young men. We are the young men are the foundation, and so if you get rid of them, the whole house will fall apart.
You are so right. This has been a great conversation. You have got to come back. I know you are a busy man. I saw you on Facebook. I was like, oh my goodness, he is busy.
And see, the thing is, remember what I told you. When my mother made a mistake, I was a mistake from my mother and my father, but I was an on-time baby by God. So the enemy tried to kill me, tried to abort me before I was even born. And while I was growing up, he tried to make me feel that I was a nobody. Everything what I'm doing today, I started 8 years ago. I stutter. I don't speak well. I didn't graduate from school. I didn't went to no college. Everything you see that I'm doing, I produced my own show. I learned everything on YouTube. I edit all of my shows, and what you're seeing today, it only could be God.
Oh, God is awesome. I tell you,
Yes.
he is.
So if I could do it, I could do it too.
Yes, 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 he will. I tell you.
Yes.
I'm a testimony as well because my story. I always say I was a something like a David Bathsheba baby. So
Yes.
mine was similar, but
Yes.
my my biological mother's husband would not allow her or her mother or anybody in the house to feed me, so they gave
Wow.
me away. Which,
Wow.
for years that bothered me. But then when I grew in God, I was like, hey, if they hadn't given me away, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
They just wasn't qualified to grow you up because they wouldn't have planted the right nutrition inside of you to create the type of person you are today. And so God knew exactly what he was doing.
Yes, he did. Yeah. So that's why I teach, young men. I know some of you run into mistakes. You make mistakes in your life. You came from a background that if you had your choice, it wouldn't have been your background. But listen at the landlord,
Yes.
Orlando, listen at me. You can overcome obstacles and build your best life, but you
Yes.
gotta want to work on it and do it. Pray and read that Bible and find out what your purpose is.
Yes.
And you will want to live for it because if God gives you a purpose, He's gonna give you the skills to make it come to pass. Look at that.
Amen.
Orlando
Amen.
said he know how to edit his own
Everything.
recordings. Hello.
Yes. And the thing is, I have 3 TV shows and 2 radio shows that is syndicated on numerous radio and TV networks all over the world. And I had to learn everything myself. What I don't know, I learn from other people. I ask questions. And so God is doing a great thing in me. It doesn't matter what your past is. It's all about your future.
Yes, 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 yes. So when I catch you, you're gonna have to come back. But thank you so much. But tell
Oh,
us
yes.
about your book.
Yes. Oh, yeah, my book. I just released a book, me and 29 other wonderful Black men. And the book is called The Heart of a Black Man. Heart of a Black Man. And you could find it on Amazon. And then there's another book I have. It is talking about my life. Let me see if I could find that here. Yep. Yeah, and it also made the bestseller list last week on Amazon. The Heart of a Black Man. It's compiled, like I said, over 29 great black men from all over America, and they chose me from out of the Bahamas, little old me, barefoot little boy, come from zero, they say, but God told me I was a hero, you know. How amazing God is, man. And so my other book is called Lord You're My Strength, from adversity to triumph. And you could just go online and get yourself a copy. And if you want to reach out to me, my website is positivetvglobal.com. positivetvglobal.com. My email is positivetvbahamas@gmail.com, or just Google me, landlord gospel, from the Bahamas, and everything will pop up. Or Instagram, landlord243.
Okay. Okay, I know y'all can remember that. The landlord from the Bahamas, if I could spell it right. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I remember seeing that book, The Heart of a Black Man, on
Yes.
Facebook. Yeah, it looks like it's interesting.
Yes.
Check it out.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. God bless.
Yes, so y'all check out Lando's 2 books, and you just remember, as you go along your busy day, you may encounter a young man that has lost his way. Don't shake your head. Don't steady your pace. Reach out and give that young man a helping hand. If we all do a little, nobody will have to do a lot. So we want to reach out and assist our young men so that they can prosper and do their purpose in the world. So thank you again so much. Hope to see you on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much again.